I was raised on Long Island in New York. I thought a great deal about nature and animals. My dad would take me out for hikes and I would rescue a turtle. And that's the sort of world I grew up in. And as a young person, I was very in love with Claude Monet. That was the first art book I ever got, was the catalog for the Claude Monet show at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I got it for my birthday. Simultaneously, I was curious about all things culture. So when I went away to college, I went to NYU and I was studying art history, but NYU has an amazing film program. So I sort of played around in the film school a lot because I had this dual love of film and art. After I graduated, I was interviewed to be Anna Wintour's personal assistant at Vogue. The day I found out I didn't get the job, I got a letter that I was accepted to ArtCenter. And I thought, okay, decision made. I'm moving to California. I'm going to be an artist. All of my teachers were hugely influential in different ways. I mean, the most important thing they taught me was how to think like an artist. I had Patty Podesta, who's an amazing production designer. She was my teacher for film and video. I studied with Mike Kelly, who was really key to my development as an artist. And one of the reasons I decided to work in video was because it had such a short history. So I thought I could innovate in this medium. I could do things that haven't been done before. I saw in the newspaper this little ad to be the artist in residence in Giverny at Claude Monet's house. So I applied and I got it. And I made this piece that was called Ofifi, 5 Days in Claude Monet's Garden. I realized that what I had made dealt with color in a very similar way that Monet had dealt with color. And I was invited to do a lot of shows because of that one piece. It opened so many doors for me. By the time I got to 1999, I was asked to do a show at the Vienna Secession. So I made Delphine. And in Delphine, the whole thing is shot underwater with wild dolphins in the Caribbean. So I tinted half the room in red, pink, and magenta, and then the other half of the room had these splayed out video projections on the ceiling, on the floor, and on the walls. All the work I made was in some way teaching you how to look at a different aspect of my work, which is to create relationships with the natural world and create kinds of encounters between viewers and things they could never see, like the last northern white rhino on Earth. How do you feel? Because he's dead and his species is extinct. I've had close relationships with wild animals in very specific situations. And I guess the closest I feel to them is to smell them. Like gorillas actually smell beautiful. They're vegetarians. They smell like mangoes and cinnamon. I was reading an article about animals returning to the Chernobyl exclusion zone called the zone of alienation. It was shocking to me that there was this herd of wild horses living there. It's so tragic that the only space for these horses is in a poisoned landscape. I decided that my piece would take the shape of the movie theater in Pripyat. It's a very theatrical experience, but at the same time, I have a great interest in theaters themselves. I made another piece with rhesus macaque monkeys who live at this temple to Hanuman, the monkey god. When I got there, it was just a facade and there was no interior. So I projected the facade and the monkeys are on the screen in the movie theater. I made an interior for my temple. It's the temple of film, it's the temple of video. The natural world is so rich and so much of that richness is being lost. If we paid attention to this thing, climate change, which is invisible to most people, but it's there. And that's what the Eaton Fire was. I lost my house, my studio, and my entire archive. I lost everything. Everything I have ever made is gone. 4 months after the fire, I said to my husband, T. Kelly, we're okay. We're okay. I've taught since 1992, and I've mentored and worked with so many good artists. I love working with young people. I want to know what they think. I want to know what they're listening to. I want to know what they're doing. I'm always learning as I teach. Art is not about the world we have, it's about the world we want. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of world do I want? I want to live in a world with the northern white rhino. I want to live in the world with western lowland gorillas. I don't want them to have to live in a cage. And I also see no reason to stop doing what I do because I think it's more critical now than it's ever been.